What's up, YouTube? It's Amy here and I have not been posting very regularly. Can I blame it on 2020? The year of the COVID. We've been very healthy. COVID has not luckily affected us, at least in terms of getting sick, but have really been giving a lot of my mental capacity to thinking about school, thinking about the 2 schools that our girls will be going to, and just trying to figure out like what that would mean, the risks, the logistics, all of that. And so I feel like a lot of times when my mind and maybe even my anxiety like starts to climb, and my mind starts to race and start thinking about a lot of things, and then there's a lot of like noise in social media and in the news, and I just feel like in times like that I tend to get a lot more quiet, and I become very much an internal processor. And I've been shooting videos, I just haven't really had the mental capacity to sit down and edit them. So since it has been a while since I have posted a video, I wanted to give you guys 5 things that have been happening on the farm this summer. So let's jump on the golf cart and start heading out to the farm. First, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about our fruit trees and give you an update on how they are doing. If you remember earlier this spring, we posted a video about our fruit trees, and we went through what varieties we got from Rain Tree Nurseries, and we also posted a video of us planting them. I'll post a link of that up here. In the course of one night, we came out in the morning and saw that a deer, or several deer, had come into our orchard area and started eating the leaves off of every single one of our fruit trees. Like, they were like bare to the stem with only 1 or 2 leaves remaining on each plant. We actually did not think that the trees were going to survive. We decided to do this. We put a barrier around our fruit trees, and we've done this for each and every one. There's one, there's one, there's one. So we did this around each one of our trees, and basically what we wanted to do is to enclose it so that it was far enough away from the longest branches so that an animal could not just brush by and get the leaves. This alone seems to be working out great. As you can see on this peach tree, the leaves have come back completely. Every single one of our trees has recovered. My little helper in the background, peekaboo! Peekaboo! Now with our fruit trees, we put them in this spring, and a few of them did go on to produce some flowers. Because the trees are young and we've just planted them, we don't want them to flower and we don't want them to go to fruit. We want all of the energy to focus towards root development. So as the flowers came out, we picked them off this year. It's going to be about 3 years before you start getting production off of your fruit trees in your home orchard. For now, we've been picking off the blossoms, so we have not gotten any fruit, and that's exactly what we expected. We're going to be coming up on fall soon. Are there any routine maintenance type activities that we need to do on these fruit trees this fall to prepare them for the winter? And so I need to do some research on that. If you know and can give us any helpful hints, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys and get feedback. Now let's head over to the meatbirds and I'll show you how they are doing and give you update number 2. Ava! Yeah, happy girl. So update number 2. I am out here at our chicken tractor where we have been keeping our meatbirds. Now I can't even remember if we shared the videos of when we got the second round of meatbirds. If you remember, the first round of meatbirds was attacked by a fox and we lost our entire flock. So we were able to get another round of meatbirds in. We got them in June. We've got 25 meatbirds. Been living in this chicken tractor for the last several weeks, and we've been moving them around our yard, and they are ready for processing this week. And they are legit like little dinosaurs. I mean, when you bring food in the morning, they go nuts. Since we're over here by the meatbirds, do you want to see the sinkhole I fell into the other day. We think it's just settling, but we've already filled it once and it's starting to come back again. So there's the hole in the area where we have already filled in once. And then in this patch here, which is a little hard to see, but in there is where I fell the other day. And there's another spot. When I fell though, it went up past my knee. So yeah, the ground almost swallowed me up. Alright, let's go check on the goats.
Mommy, I'm giving you four. Can you give me four now? Yay! I don't like sniffing, Mom. I don't want to sniff. Hi guys, he wants to be pet. I want to leave him somewhere. I'll leave him.
Okay. Okay, so here we are out in our goat pen area for update number 3. We have had our goats now for 4 and 5 weeks. We got 3 in one trip, and then we got our 4th goat 1 week later. That goat we kept isolated, watched her, and made sure that we thought she was healthy before we intermingled her with the rest of the herd. We did stool samples and had them analyzed, and everybody looked clean and got a good bill of health from the vet. We put them all together. Within 4 days, one of the goats from the original herd that we picked up first, she started getting sick, and I was freaking out because when goats get sick, it could be really bad, and it could get really bad and really dangerous very quickly. So I was freaking out. I was doing the temperatures and the FAMACHA and took her to the vet. Lo and behold, she had worms. And it was surprising because these worms were not picked up when we ran the stool sample just a week before. So we treated her and everybody else for worms. We do not want to stay like dependent on chemical dewormers. The girls get involved in 4-H down the line and we decide to show them, you know, maybe we'll do something more prophylactically. I just don't really want them to be dependent on chemical interventions if we can build up some sort of natural immunity. So I feel like the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of the 4 weeks that we've had them have been pretty stressful. But other than that, we just moved them into a new pasture section. I had the base installed for their new building that will be delivered in about 2 weeks. That'll be their permanent building. And yeah, so we've got them on new fresh pasture the last 2 days, and we rearranged their climbing toys a little bit, and they love them, and it's so fun to come out and play with them and run around. Do you like having goats?
Yeah!
What do you like about having goats?
I like we can pet them, and I like we can give them treats and play with them.
And play with them and treats?
Yeah. And
okay, I had to run inside because my alarm went off saying that our bread was done, and I had to pull it out of the oven. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of pretty. Here, take a look. I really hope this bread tastes as yummy as it looks right now. I tried to do some cute fancy scoring right there. I'm so tempted to try it, but I know you've got to let bread cool before you cut into it. So we are gonna hold out until dinner tonight. These little lemon squashes right here have been one of our favorite products coming out of our garden this year. So surprisingly good. Look at this okra. We are learning to cook okra in a lot of different ways, and we've discovered that we actually really enjoy it. I'm gonna have to get that one off today because if not, it will be too big to eat. Tomatoes. I am so frustrated with tomatoes. this guy is finally putting out something. I haven't gotten a single tomato off of him this year. I thought for sure he was a diseased, gone plant, and now suddenly we've got some tomatoes growing. But a lot of these plants are just not doing well. See, that one is rotten. We've been struggling with blossom end rot and other rotting while still on the vine. Lots of insect pressure. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm very disappointed. For having 60 plants, we have not been getting the amount of tomatoes that we anticipated. I will be able to put away some jars of sauce for this year, but definitely not a year's worth of canned tomatoes, which is what I was hoping with this many tomato plants in our garden. One of my saving graces are these beautiful blue cream. I love these tomatoes. I look forward to coming out and just eating it straight off of the plant every time I visit the garden. It's so sweet. It's almost sweet to where you don't realize that you are eating a tomato. It's really, really good. Definitely unlike anything that I've ever found or tasted from a store. Can we just call this greenhouse like it is? One big hot mess. It's so hot in here. It is so messy and wild. It needs to be turned over for the fall. And honestly, it's so hot out that it's hard to find the motivation to do it. But look how wild she is. Speaking of wild, we had some Hubbard squash, at least we believe it's Hubbard squash, that just showed up in our compost pile. So once it started growing in our greenhouse planter, we just let it grow. I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not. It definitely took over a big portion of the greenhouse, but we've got so many of these squashes. Look at this. And they are ginormous. Like, that's my hand, look at that. Incredible. Some lilac bell peppers. Banana peppers, still going strong. We have already picked several batches of jalapenos off of our plants. And we still have some in there. The peppers are doing great this year. I'm very, very happy with them. The cucumbers have been doing amazing. Here we've got a little cucamelon. These cucumbers, I thought they were dar, but now I'm kind of thinking they might be Chicago pickling, have been so prolific. I definitely am going to be planting them again next year. I pulled one off because actually I want a little snack. It's so sweet. And the seeds are really small. Really happy with these this year. I have been eating these cucumbers fresh, and I have pickled so many and made relish with so many, and I still have enough for another batch soon. It's so peaceful and beautiful in this garden. Even as wild as it is in the summer, and as weed filled as it is in the summer, it is still absolutely gorgeous. Yes, if you noticed, my outfit did just change. My battery died yesterday while doing the cucumbers, so I went inside to charge my battery, and then I never made it back out to finish filming. So it's the next morning, and I've got my coffee. All you need is love and a dog, and this needs to be added to say, and chickens and goats and cats and kids. Here is my loofah tunnel. It's doing okay, not as good as it did last year. This time last year it was full of flowers and no loofah, and now we've got no flowers and one loofah. See my loofah up there? I'm interested to see if we get a late season bloom like we did last year, But considering I'm not seeing as many flowers as we had last year, I'm really nervous that we're gonna get anything at all. After I tore out my peas, I planted some melons. We've got some melons growing here. Some little personal size melons. There's one growing. That's coming up nicely on the trellis. So this is our second year for grapes. And I'll show you behind me. Here's our grapevines. We've got 8 or 9 of them. We've lost 2. Well, we lost 1 and 1 I pulled out intentionally because of disease. But the grapes are doing well. This is their second year and we've been getting quite a bit of grapes off of them. I'm not really expecting anything until maybe next year, but definitely the year after. But they're still really good. Let me see if I can find one here. There's a lot of Concords because I like Concords. For me, Concord grapes have such a sentimental value to them. When I worked at a plant nursery many moons ago, a coworker and I used to go out to the woody plants area where the nursery had grapevines growing up and over some trellis. And we would go out to the trellis this time of year and pick the grapes and eat them. Middle of the afternoon in the summer, the nursery was not very busy. And so if we had downtime, that's what we would do. Or we would go like on a break or a lunch break or something and grab some grapes and eat them. But the Concord grapes always had a very old, very sentimental flavor to me. And I never really understood why until just a couple years ago. It was about 2 years ago. I was with my aunt and uncle and we were telling them what kind of grapes we were gonna plant or we were getting. And then my uncle mentioned and asked if I remembered my grandmother having grapevines in the back of her house. And when he told me the kind that they were, I was like, wow, that must be why I have such an attachment to Concord grapes. It's because my grandmother is a memory that brings so much joy into my life, and thinking and having that association of those Concord grapes, and come to find out my grandmother had Concord grapes in the back of her house, and it's very, very likely my first taste of Concord grapes. And how cool is that if I've just subconsciously associated Concord grapes and that flavor and built up such an attachment and like a sentimental memory to them, not realizing where it was rooted in. So anyways, I just thought that was really cool, and I'm really excited to have Concord grapes. Let's look at the melons. They're right in front of me. We have picked off over 100 pounds of melon this year. Look at that watermelon. Let's see if he's going to be ready soon. I'm looking for the attachment point. Nope. So look, there is the coil that you want to look at. When that turns brown, this guy should be ready to pick. So he's not there yet. But we've gotten over 100 pounds of melon this year. Some that were close to 30 pounds each, which is insane. Let me see. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Look at this bad boy. Look at this guy. You can see my hand on there, and it's just so massive. This guy is starting to die back. So in a day or two, maybe this weekend, we'll be able to cut off that watermelon and try it. This is the second season for this raspberry bush in our garden. And I love these things. They are so flippin' good. I'm really impressed with how many raspberries we've been getting off of this plant. Now, it produces fruit in the spring or early summer, and then apparently it does another bumper crop in August because it's now loading itself back up with raspberries. Breakfast of champions, right? The flavor of these raspberries is so sweet. They're decent size. It's just a red raspberry bush. I don't think it's a fancy variety. I just wanted to get a plain red raspberry bush because I also wanted the opportunity to pick young leaves in the spring to make tea with it. Okay, so The garden is always a bigger update because it's so massive, but last but not least, I want to update you guys on our new laying flock. So let's head over to the coop. Now these guys here are pretty big, and ever since they were in the brooder, they have been super flighty, like always trying to jump out. Oh my gosh, one just climbed on my back. And so I like to call them Amelia Earhart. I don't know which one is which, we've got two, but hello Amelia. Hi! Hello! We still have our mobile coop set up, and actually the Enterprise is right next to where we're at. See, there's those girls and guys. They are doing really well. We've actually got a broody hen right now. We're letting her sit on her eggs to see if she'd hatch them out, but I don't think that that's going to happen. We're still going to do rotational grazing with our chickens with the Enterprise, but we did set up this stationary coop that's going to be here. These guys will stay in this area. Just so you guys can see, this is the inside. It's 8 by 30, and there's about 4 or 5 feet of it is their shelter, and then the remainder is a run. In the far end here, we want to put up some sticks for roosts for them, and we want to get some swings. We still need to prepare the ground here, so we still have a lot more that we want to add into this coop, but for now, this is what it looks like. So one of the things that we need to do is to come up with a name for this coop, and we just came up with the Enterprise for our mobile coop, and would really like to come up with something fun for our stationary mobile coop, yeah, our stationary chicken coop. If you've got any clever ideas for us, please leave them in the comments below. Help us find a name for our new coop here. These chickens are doing really, really well. I love the variety that we have in them. Their health has been really good. Trying to drive and drink coffee and hold a camera, not exactly easy. What was I thinking? Jeez. So there you have it, our 5 updates for what's been going on the farm and how things are doing. Stay up to date with what we've got going on. Make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell. And if you think that there might be people in your network that would either benefit from or enjoy watching these videos, go ahead and share this with them. I thank you guys so much. Until next time, see you later. What a morning.